What's up, Prob? How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. This is a long time coming, bro. I've been asking this for a while.
You have, and persistence always pays. And also, I see you, sometimes being a voice of reason in the community. And I like the way you think for the most part. You're quite logical. Sometimes I think we disagree, but that's what makes the world go round.
I mean, yeah, I think early on in our, I would say, relationship, you've publicly shared that you didn't like my opinions, which is fine. I feel like we've had like a shaky relationship, but I like it. I like it like that. We don't agree on everything, but we don't disagree on everything either.
Look, some of my best friends, we have completely opposing views about all kinds of things. And I think as long as it's respectful and we can social media platforms is a different thing because then everyone else chimes in and ratios and God knows what else. But I think with friendships, it's important to not just agree blindly and always ask questions if you're unsure. And what happens is we react to our impulsive reaction comes out first, right? So if you say something, I might be triggered to react to what you say without giving it much thought, and I could change my mind an hour later, or even the step we miss a lot is we're so married to our opinions and we're loyal to our opinions. That's the wrong use of loyalty. Loyalty shouldn't be to your opinions. It should be towards seeking truth, right? So
Yeah.
without important discussions to understand other people's perspectives, you can never really grow because there's not a single person that knows everything. Know-it-alls are the worst, man. People who don't take responsibility or for making mistakes and things like that, they can never really grow. I always get worried when a staff member makes a fuck up
Mm-hmm.
and they have excuse after excuse after excuse. I respect it so much more when they say, hey, circumstances might have been A, B, and C, but I take responsibility for this. I fucked up because that's what I do. And by doing that, it then gives me faith in thinking they're not going to repeat that mistake. Whereas if they never thought they did anything wrong in the first place, then inevitably they're going to repeat that mistake.
No, bro, I 100% get that. I feel like as I grow older, I understand that more as well. Especially me because I feel like when I would like mess up, like when I was younger, or like to my teachers, I would like lie to my teacher, or lie to my parents. But I feel like just telling the truth is like so much easier.
It's crazy because when you tell, even in a relationship, if you have a girlfriend or whatever, um, if you start off being fully honest, it's and being transparent and even saying things that you're like, oh shit, they might get angry or they might not want to hear this. Instead of choosing the path of saving your own ass, if you're actually transparent about whatever, you'd be surprised how that makes you closer with people because then you earn trust. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's so worth that 5 minutes of feeling uncomfortable to create a bond where you're like, okay, well, this person didn't have to tell me that because obviously I'm not gonna be happy about it, but they chose to tell me the truth regardless of that, and then you earn trust that way. I think. So
Yeah, I think that's a lot what people tend to miss, honestly. You're right on that one step. That one step, I guess you could summarize it in one word, calling it reflection. You could definitely, a lot of people tend to skip that over.
reflection, connection, perspective. Perspective is such an important part of life in general. Well, I've told my daughter this a bunch, but I was telling a friend of mine, if I choose to have a negative perspective in a negative situation, it's not going to there's no double negative or that's going to help. If I choose to be positive in a situation that's not gone my way, then I'm more likely to get out of that negative situation and turn it into a positive. I think disciplining your mind is so important and practicing that on a daily basis. That's those kind of things help you achieve successful results in the direction you want to go in. So just being optimistic and positive and doing the work towards whatever your ambition or goal is essential. That's always been my way of working, or
Hmm.
applying that to, and obviously as you get older, which I am getting older, unfortunately, you do get wiser if you're open-minded and if you're like, oh shit, I fucked up. This is how I could have done something better.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic, we're just riffing, I guess, but I think it's it's so important because even if someone does something where they're 90% wrong and you reacted poorly to them, you're 10% at fault. Let's say if we could categorize and sort of split the percentages and say, all right, you're 10% at fault. I'm going to choose to own my 10% rather than focus on their 90%. And I promise that's the most magical thing you can do in an argument, because then the other person's like got no leg to stand on. They're like, oh shit, he's saying he's at fault, but really maybe it was my fault more, or maybe it was my fault too. And then what happens is they take responsibility too, and then you're out of that vicious cycle of the egos battling each other.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
self-realization.
Like, for example, with me, Mams, I feel like sometimes I do have an ego problem and I take things to heart like more than I really should. And then it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? It wasn't even that serious. But I feel like the more I grow, maybe the better I'll get at that.
Well, the more you learn how to respond
Yeah.
rather than react, that's a true powerful weapon. You know, how many times I've certainly been guilty of this, but way less than I was in my 20s, way less than I was in my 30s. And as you get older, you do tend to be a bit more relaxed and, oh shit, that sucks that this didn't go my way, but there's nothing I could have done to prevent that. There's nothing I can do to change that now. How can I prevent that in the future or whatever? You know, like just being self-reflective and taking responsibility for your side of things. It's such a freeing thing, and that really, really sets you up to be a successful human with that kind of growth that you can get out of taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
And a lot of the time, it's not responsibility that comes from things you say or do visibly. So it might be on the surface the other person's fault all the way, but in reality, you know, if you're really self-reflective and true to yourself, you know you can scan and detect your energy wasn't clean in approaching the situation. Just because it seems like you're in the right, and that's what our ego wants. Our ego wants to be in the right all the time, you know? But we can strip ourselves of that and say, okay, did I approach this with a negative energy? Did I have a negative opinion about the person I'm working with? Or did I secretly get satisfaction out of them not doing well or whatever? And if you scan that and you're truthful with yourself, I think that's a really powerful weapon. You know?
For sure, yeah.
Damn, bro, we just got some free words of wisdom from Mams Taylor.
That's like gold right there.
That was crazy.
For whatever it's worth. But yeah, people are going to be like, what's blood waffling about?
No, I appreciate that. That's actually a very powerful message, man.